You are not merely here. Something inside of you brought you to this particular video at this very moment, and after you've finished watching it, you'll start to see why. Perhaps you've been feeling overburdened recently, like if your life is whirling into turmoil with uncertainty and difficulties that don't appear to have any logic or purpose. What many people don't know is that the universe always whispers before it shouts. It sends signs, nudges, and subtle signals before a huge shift occurs. What if I told you that all of this could actually be the clearest indication that you're about to enter the most powerful, beautiful, and meaningful chapter of your life? The true tragedy lies in the fact that most individuals fail to see these signs for what they are, mistaking them for ill luck or misfortune, and giving up right before they make a breakthrough. However, the fact that you're here indicates that you're paying attention. I'm going to take you through 7 of the most potent indicators that a significant change is about to occur in your life today. And get ready, for a new reality is already developing if you find that you can relate to even 3 of them. Let's begin with the initial indication. You start to doubt everything you believed to be true about life. It's not by accident if you've recently found yourself thinking back on your values, beliefs, objectives, or even sense of purpose. It's because something has already started to change inside of you. Although this internal change may not be immediately apparent, it is quite real. It feels like the old mental models you once relied on are beginning to fall apart. Yes, it is uncomfortable, but that discomfort is precious. The world is asking you to reconsider everything you've ever taken for granted, which means you're waking up to a different version of yourself, doubting your relationships and reality, your guidance. The universe is telling you to break free from the illusions you've been living under in order to unlock the possibility of something much bigger than you could have ever dreamed of. This is not a crisis. Rather, it's an awakening. This change of viewpoint is essential to your development. Life is letting you know when your mind is prepared to open up to new concepts and move into a future that is in harmony with your higher self. These inquiries about my true self, what do I really desire? Do I live in a way that fulfills the purpose of my soul, are gateways, and once you enter them, there's no turning back. They're not merely intellectual reflections. The world feels strange all of a sudden, and things that made perfect sense before begin to lose their significance. Certainties disappear, and although it could seem like you're losing your footing, you're actually finding your way. The universe uses this bewilderment to make room for the true you to emerge, free from outdated assumptions, roles, and stories that no longer suit. Even though the process seems chaotic, it is actually creation, and you are being rebuilt stronger, wiser, and more aware of who you truly are. It's like a spiritual cleansing, a death of the false self so that the authentic self can be born. The universe, in its wisdom, starts to remove the masks, lies, and outdated identities, leaving behind raw, honest, and real. Keep in mind that this inquiry is the start of the journey, not a diversion. You're not getting lost. You're beginning to see it at last. It's unsettling when the familiar crumbles, but that's what creates room for something better. You're not damaged. You're liberating yourself. Furthermore, your beliefs aren't the only ones being questioned. You might observe that your everyday routines, behaviors, and relationships are changing. People that don't share your energy start to disappear. Situations that used to be comforting can now feel oppressive. That's because anything that doesn't align with your new frequency is being shed. Imagine this as an internal cleanse, a filter that lets just the things that feed your soul pass through and lets go of everything else. Indeed, it entails letting go, giving up familiar pain, comfort zones, and the appearance of control. It's challenging because, although these things may have seemed like components of your identity at one point, they are not who you are. Rather, they were only instruments for a particular stage of your life. The magic is in what follows. There is a new you on the other side of this turmoil. Stronger, more aware, and more in line with your own truth. You'll start to feel it. Faint but powerful sensation, anxiety, and excitement mixed together, as though something significant or remarkable is about to occur. And that sensation isn't coincidental, that's your gut telling you. It's an indication that your awareness is growing and that you're letting go of the boundaries you previously set for yourself. As those walls start to come down, something lovely begins to emerge. New aspirations, new goals, new vitality. This is when the magic really happens. It's like plucking weeds out of a garden to make place for colorful, flowering life. Answers will begin to come to you, but not in the manner you had anticipated. They could manifest as random meetings, synchronous occurrences, the words of an unknown individual, or a book that somehow ends up in your possession. These seemingly little incidents contain messages that are especially meant for you. You'll know you're headed in the correct direction, even if you don't yet have all the answers. Because asking questions itself is a process of transformation. It's knowledge, not weakness. The insight that arises when you stop acting and begin to listening to the cosmos, your spirit, and yourself. As you keep focusing on this process, you'll see how the outside world starts to mirror your internal changes. That's why alignment is so beautiful. Your world starts to shift. You've increased your frequency, not because the world has changed, but because of you. Your eyes have awakened. Don't be afraid of the queries, because you've regained your authority. Greetings to them. Accept the unknown. Permitting oneself to experience discomfort is a sign of growth, and every significant change starts with uncertainty, bewilderment, and a feeling of disintegration. But in reality, you're just sliding into place, and you will begin to notice the indications the universe has been sending you all along when you finally give up on this process. They have been waiting for you to be ready, and now you are the second sign. You start to feel increasingly cut off from your history. It doesn't happen overnight. Rather, it's a slow, subtle shift that starts deep within you, often so subtly that you don't even notice it at first. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the things that once motivated you, excited you, and gave you energy and purpose start to lose their power over you. Perhaps you've noticed that the activities, conversations, or routines that once made you happy now feel hollow. This is one of the most obvious and potent signs that you're about to embark on a new chapter in your life. It seems as though you are viewing the same world from a new perspective. No longer glowing eyes at the same sights, ears that react differently to certain sounds, the people you used to have a strong bond with, and the locations that used to feel like home suddenly seem far away, almost alien. You start to realize that the feelings associated with those events have subsided, and a calm sense of detachment has taken their place. This change is not coincidental. Rather, it is a deeper, more substantial phenomenon than a passing mood or phase. Your soul is informing you that you've outgrown particular relationships, moments, and versions of yourself. It's gently but firmly pushing you along. Your outlook on life is changing, and along with it, so are your objectives, aspirations, values, and relationships. And all of a sudden, the things that used to be the cornerstone of your identity no longer feel like they belong to you. Instead, they resemble the remnants of a past life. shadows of a person you are. No longer the experience is perplexing. Your old routines, the job that once defined your worth, the social circles you used to feel a part of, and even the thoughts that guided your day-to-day life all start to unravel. And while this can be extremely unsettling and feel like loss, it is also one of the most powerful indicators of personal transformation. You may not always know where you're going or what you're supposed to become, but you know with certainty that you can't go back. You can't keep acting that the old life fits the new version of yourself. It just doesn't. It's your inner self, clearing out space and shedding your old skin to reveal something much more in line with who you really are. It's never simple to let go of the familiar. When you let go of aspects of who you were that seemed permanent, you experience a sort of sorrow. Consider this disconnection you're going through as a clearing in the forest that has just been opened by time and change, ready to accept new life. It's not designed to punish you. Rather, it's meant to prepare you for what comes next. Even if it isn't yet apparent, what is about to happen is quietly developing beneath the surface. The cosmos is sending you a sacred signal when you lose interest in your history, one that alerts you to the impending arrival of something new. Even if you don't comprehend it yet, this is about releasing yourself from the things that have served their role. Not about giving up everything you've known, letting go of attachments that don't contribute to your development. You are about to enter a phase of your life where you will be called to let go of the roles you have performed, the routines you have followed, and the masks you have donned. You are being asked to enter a life that is more in line with who you are now than with who you were before. Not all of the time does this change make sense. There is the possibility of something lovely within the uncertainty, even though it could feel like the ground is moving beneath you. Rebirth, expansion, and the opportunity to rediscover yourself in ways you never thought were possible. The sense of alienation is only the first step. It is accompanied by a series of internal alterations. You start to see how your beliefs are changing, particularly the limiting ones you had never before challenged. That previous self, the one that behaved in accordance with social norms and accepted certain facts, is beginning to wane. You start to doubt things you used to take for granted. Perhaps you begin to examine yourself more frequently and discover that the outer world no longer provides all the answers. Perhaps you believe that your outdated systems are collapsing. You may even find it difficult to define yourself in this new environment, but one thing is certain: it will liberate you rather than destroy you. You have changed as a person. That old skin no longer fits you as you grow and change. You have a strong urge to be reborn and become a braver, more independent, and more genuine version of yourself, even though you don't yet know what that version looks like. You can sense it beckoning to you. As this sense of alienation grows, anxiety may start to seep in. Fear of losing what is known, fear of letting go, fear of venturing into the unknown goes hand in hand with freedom. Freedom comes from not having to remain the person you were before, and strength comes from letting go of things that no longer serve your best interests. That void you sense within is actually potential, the womb of fresh start, not emptiness at all. It's an indication that something much more in line with your soul is going to show up, and sure, it might hurt. Growth is frequently, however, that discomfort serves as a springboard for clarity, which eventually materializes. You quit seeking direction from others. You no longer let other people dictate your course. Rather, you look inward. You start to have faith in your intuition, inner wisdom, heart, and soul. As the world's cacophony begins to subside, a calm, steady voice inside of you takes its place. This voice serves as your compass. it turns into your reality. You leave yourself up to possibilities rather than holding on to the past or attempting to bring the past back to life. You give yourself permission to change into someone else. You get closer to being a more genuine version of yourself every day. The version that has always been waiting for you beneath the surface, not the one that has been shaped by fear, duty, or expectation. Therefore, know that your spirit is guiding you and that it is taking you to a new beginning if you find yourself straying from who you once were, if your old life no longer fits, or if the people, habits, and dreams that once felt crucial suddenly feel distant. Disconnection is not the end. The true journey is just getting started. It is the silent, holy start of the metamorphosis you were always intended to undergo. The third symptom is that you start to doubt what you formerly considered to be significant. Have you ever seen that things that once seemed vital no longer carry the same weight? It's as like you're suddenly looking at life from a whole new perspective. Things that used to worry you seem to go away. Material objectives, social expectations, and other people's opinions start to wane in favor of something much more significant. You begin to wonder what is most important to you. Your professional wealth and notoriety, they all appear to be little parts of a larger picture that was previously invisible. You start to recognize that living in accordance with what truly resonates within you, rather than trying to live up to society's expectations, is what really matters in life. It's as if a filter has been lifted, enabling you to see past appearances and into the core of who you are. This introspection isn't always simple. It might cause doubt and perhaps leave you feeling disoriented in a sea of opposing viewpoints. However, that very area of ignorance is a rich source of personal development. That's where fresh solutions start to emerge, responses that originate within rather than externally. Life begins to show you that connections that uplift your spirit and events that enhance your soul are more fulfilling than material possessions. This inquiry may even lead to a thorough reassessment of your mission. Why have you come here? What experiences do you really wish to have? Even while the answers don't always come right away, you're definitely starting to see new opportunities. Once essential things are becoming less powerful as new interests take their place. You're getting ready for a significant change if you have new interests and a stronger desire to connect with what really matters. The cosmos is pointing you in the direction of your genuine path and what genuinely fulfills you. And although everything could seem unclear at first, this is the first step towards living a more conscious existence that is in line with your true self. This change in viewpoint typically occurs gradually, but once it starts, you realize it cannot be denied any longer. You begin to realize that the things that once made you feel secure now seem insubstantial. You no longer feel compelled to conform to what society considers to be success. It seems as though a fresh force is embracing you and drawing you in. The direction of a more genuine existence that is less impacted by expectations from others. The goal of this procedure is to let the new in rather than simply dismiss the old. Suddenly, your interests and passions that you may have put aside are taking center stage. Perhaps you're revisiting past pursuits you'd forgotten, or perhaps venturing into uncharted territory. You no longer give a damn about following a tried and true route or fitting into a system. Rather, you're looking for a path that aligns with your own principles and purpose, which only you can determine. There may also be a brief feeling of loneliness associated with this questioning. You may initially feel cut off from your regular social circle or old friends. Finding your inner truth naturally involves removing yourself from outside expectations. However, it's only temporary, so don't worry. Self-awareness can develop in that loneliness, and you'll eventually begin drawing in folks who share your new outlook, people who share your changing perspective on the world. It's similar to having a reset. What no longer benefits you begins to wane, and a fresh vitality replaces it, bringing you closer to what really counts. There is nothing urgent about this questioning process. It's an awakening that sets you up for something greater, more profound, and more in line with your mission. Although the path to that realization may initially appear uncertain, you'll eventually realize that it's precisely what you needed to become the best version of yourself. The fourth clue is that you feel closer to your intuition than ever before. This is an intriguing phenomenon that occurs when you're about to make a significant life change. It's as though a new type of inner clarity is triggered within of you. All of a sudden, everything seems to have a deeper purpose, and every decision feels more natural. What was unclear before suddenly becomes clear. You are no longer mired in your own mental turmoil. Something inside of you begins to tell you which way to go. The inner voice or gut instinct that guides you without the need for all the answers or rational justifications is known as intuition. It's the awareness that something is in line with who you really are, even if you are unable to articulate why. Learning to trust that inner wisdom is crucial. As you start doing this, you'll find that decision-making gets easier because you're operating from a deeper place that is more in line with your true self. It takes time to develop intuition, and it frequently begins with little clues, like a gut feeling that guides you in a different direction, or a wave of serenity that envelops you in times of uncertainty. Since the bustle of daily life tends to muffle that inner voice, it may be difficult to identify at first. However, as you start to give it space and pay more attention, you'll notice that it becomes more distinct and powerful. There are several ways that intuition might manifest. Sometimes it manifests as a bodily sensation, other times as an unexpected thought, or even as an inexplicable conviction about a person or circumstance. Your decisions will no longer be solely based on logic, as you become more attuned to it. Rather, they stem from a deeper understanding that is more in line with your true self. That sense of certainty is the start of a profound change that is about to happen. So it won't matter if you don't fully grasp why something pulls you in or drives you away. As you continue to cultivate this relationship with your intuition, you'll begin to notice that things that used to seem chaotic or random now follow a pattern, as though the puzzle pieces are finally coming together, because you sense, in some inexplicable manner, that you're in the right place at the right time, doing exactly what you're supposed to accomplish. Your life begins to flow more effortlessly and smoothly. You believe that your intuition is leading you in the correct direction, so you no longer feel the need to overanalyze every step. Additionally, this awakening enables you to see things that were previously invisible. You'll gain a deeper understanding of what's actually going on around you and be able to read between the lines and sense the energy of people and situations. You'll be a lot more receptive to those subtle vibrations now. Sometimes it's not about what's being said, but rather what's being felt. The most incredible thing about this sign is that the more you follow your gut, the more you start to feel a profound sense of security and serenity that you have never experienced before. Even if you don't know everything, or if the future is still unknown, that strong sense that you are on the right track will be so strong that nothing can derail you. When you make judgments based on a thorough grasp of who you are and the world around you, anxiety and doubts start to fade. This is the start of a period of self-discovery and empowerment. You'll discover that the decisions you make get you closer to your own self as you continue to develop your ability to follow your intuition. Now that you're in tune with your own natural rhythm, life begins to flow with a grace you never thought possible. Yes, the concept of personal development appeals to you more. It feels like a deep yearning for personal growth is emerging from within you as this new chapter progresses. You're not satisfied with the version of yourself you used to accept or with what you once knew. You want to push your boundaries and improve yourself, not just exist. Your thoughts and actions start to be guided by this inner desire for growth. It's as though you're driven to learn more, develop further, and become a more powerful and genuine version of yourself. You find yourself continuously looking for new information through books, classes, experiences, or even talks with people who question your beliefs. New skills and life-changing events captivate you like never before. This need to learn and understand about yourself drives you to find aspects of yourself that you never would have imagined. From your deepest limitations to your hidden passions, you feel that there is no time to waste and that this is the moment to seize every chance to reinvent yourself. It's not just about intellectual curiosity, it's also about a desire to feel whole and more in line with your purpose and values. You are also connected to a transforming force and a sense that nothing is impossible by this desire for growth. You are more receptive to letting go of outdated, constricting ideas and accepting fresh viewpoints that help you advance if you are willing to change. Personal development is becoming more than simply a wish. It's become a need that permeates all aspect of your existence. Personal growth is no longer merely a decision. What once felt like a clear and defined road now feels uncertain, as if you need to find new courses and ways of thinking and acting. It is a top priority. You're prepared to set out on a trip that will transform your inner self in ways you can't yet completely understand, in addition to changing your external environment. You start to pose more in-depth queries. Who am I? What am I trying to accomplish? What is the real purpose of my life? This interrogation time is not coincidental. It's an obvious indication that your mind is prepared to grow and leave the comfort zone you once believed to be sufficient. You're not merely looking for solutions. You long for a metamorphosis that takes you to a new plane of consciousness where the commonplace starts to feel exceptional. You experience a tug towards healing at the same time. It goes beyond only intellectual development. It's also spiritual and emotional. When you begin to face past traumas, limiting ideas, and thought patterns that no longer benefit you, you're prepared to let them go, realizing that the only way to create space for the new is to let go of the past. And even though this process can be difficult, it ends up being one of the most thrilling aspects of your quest for a more genuine self. Your life begins to focus more on the important things in life. Growth-related relationship genuineness, these start to take precedence over the minor issues and trivial diversions that previously took up your time. You are now prepared to step outside of your regular routine and make significant adjustments that are in line with your innermost goals. You can begin to surround yourself with people who share your desire to change and develop. These individuals push you to think more creatively and to consider fresh viewpoints. You are no longer clinging to antiquated ideas or looking for outside approval. You want to live a more genuine and meaningful life that represents the best version of yourself. The sixth sign indicates that you have a strong desire to leave unhealthy relationships and circumstances that no longer speak to you. At this point in your life, you're starting to realize how some situations and individuals that used to seem like home suddenly seem totally out of place. The situations you formerly accepted as usual, the things you used to put up with, and the actions you once justified suddenly feel exhausting or just unrelated to who you are becoming. These dynamics aren't something you're simply outgrowing. You're moving on from them. Things that used to feel comfortable and familiar don't match your changing values, your inner tranquility, or your deeper sense of purpose you're going through. A significant change. Additionally, that process is making it impossible to overlook the burden of what has been preventing you from moving forward. It's similar to discovering after a long sleep that some of the people and habits you held dear never truly contributed to your success. All they were doing was holding you in place. And now something has changed inside of you. A strong awareness and clarity are growing that you don't want to stay in relationships that deplete your energy or keep you emotionally unstable. No matter how much work you've put in or how comfortable the scenario feels, it doesn't matter how long you've known. Someone thinks it's time to let things go if it doesn't help you grow. Because the discomfort of being in a place that no longer feels right has surpassed the fear of the unknown. You no longer fear the uncertainty that comes with change. It's not selfish to choose peace to find clarity in order to safeguard your energy. This desire to keep your distance from poisonous energy is about honoring yourself with love, not about rejecting others with hatred. It's self. You're starting to realize that you have to be willing to let go of things that make you less of yourself in order to become the best version of yourself. If you're still bound to the past by connections that don't represent who you are, you can't create a future that feels authentic. Within you, a sacred act of self-liberation is taking place. It is the realization that you are worthy of being surrounded by those who support you, push you in ways that foster your development, see you clearly, and love you for who you are. You're not trying to be flawless. You seek sincerity, genuineness, respect for one another, and emotional stability. It's also one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. Even though the process of letting go can be painful because endings are never simple, it's a declaration that your time, heart, energy, and well-being all count. You no longer wish to give up those things out of fear or comfort. You've come to the conclusion that holding on to the past isn't worth the expense of your own development. Something lovely starts to happen when you let go of things that no longer serve you. You begin to draw in situations and people that are truly in line with your soul. New relationships that feel uplifting and expansive start to take shape. These are the relationships that bring value to your life. They don't drain you. Instead, they energize you, and gradually you start to rebuild. You find yourself surrounded by people who understand you, support your journey, and encourage your aspirations, rather than minimize them. The beginning of a new chapter is marked by the replacement of the surface-level relationships with real ones connections that not only occupy space, but also uplift your soul. You start accepting the kind of love, whether it be friendship, family, or romance, that sees, hears, and respects you, instead of settling for relationships that aren't sincere. This indicates that you are getting ready for a new and remarkable phase of your life, one in which you are more aware of who you really are, where serenity is valued, where your heart is secure, and where your soul is at last free to develop, love, and live without limitations. This is not merely a change. You are reborn. In the seventh sign, you start to feel a strong sense of detachment from everything that no longer benefits you. You begin to realize, as you enter this new stage of your life, that things that once seemed important, significant, or even irreplaceable now have much less weight. It's as though something inside of you has changed. Your viewpoint is evolving. Relationships that once felt crucial may suddenly feel strained or detached as your energy changes, and what once seemed to define your world starts to drift into the background. Things that used to make you happy may now seem pointless or monotonous. Even familiar locations that used to make you feel at ease may suddenly seem far away or strange. No, this doesn't imply that your past was flawed or that your decisions were incorrect. Rather, it just indicates that you're changing. Layers of an identity that no longer matches you are being shed. As you transition into a more aligned version of yourself, some aspects of your previous life inevitably start to fade. At first, this separation may feel awkward. There may be times when you feel confused, depressed, or nostalgic. You may wonder, why I no longer enjoy this, or why I feel so cut off from the people I once loved. Yet, in the middle of that discomfort, there's a faint but indisputable sense of liberation. It's like taking a breath of fresh air after spending too much time in a closed space. You might not fully comprehend what's going on, but you know deep down that it's time to let go. You start to realize that some routines, habits, or even thought patterns don't fit with how you're feeling right now. What used to captivate you now hardly stirs you. Old fears become less powerful. Persistent concerns appear less pressing. And although there may be a sense of loss associated with this, there is also a deep sense of peace. You're not simply letting go of the old. You're creating space for the new, and this new isn't just something external. It's a deeper alignment with who you really are becoming. The letting go is followed by a sacred silence and an inner serenity that wasn't there before. This is not an abrupt change. It develops gradually, almost silently. The change gets more profound every day. One day you may discover that you are no longer passionate about something that used to define who you are. Or you may discover that talking to particular individuals drains you rather than inspires you. This is about honoring your journey and realizing that growth frequently entails outgrowing your history, not about betraying it or rejecting the people in it. You're developing a more sophisticated understanding of what really counts. You are recalibrating your inner compass. You realize that letting go of things that no longer feed your spirit is necessary to go forward. A career, friendship, belief system, or just a version of yourself that no longer seems authentic could be the cause. This procedure is sacrosanct. It is a component of who you are. Additionally, even though it might not always be simple, it is essential. Keep in mind that the cosmos guides us in a special way, occasionally gently, occasionally suddenly, but always with a purpose. If these words even slightly resonate with you right now, have faith that this is not a coincidence. You were intended to hear it. Something is waking up within of you. You are about to embark on a new phase of your life where everything begins to make sense if you follow and trust the deeper wisdom that is emerging. What occurs when you fully recognize these indicators and take charge of your life? What changes when you embrace what is intended to be and let go of what was? A potent awakening is in store, one that may change everything you believed to be true. You're not only altering your situation, your consciousness is growing. You're aligning with a world where your new base is authenticity, clarity, and tranquility. This is the start of something truly remarkable. Remain inquisitive. Keep your doors open. You are not alone on this path, and if you feel called to continue examining your own personal progress, keep walking with us. The trip ahead is not only about growth, it's about transformation. There's so much more to discover. We'll cross paths again soon and continue to develop and explore our true selves.